Dire team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle Central Europe Season 3. We are still in the lower bracket. We have a best of 3 between Albumsheet and Balkan Bears Corleone, and this is game number 1. I'm Mike Loris. I'm going to be joined by Coucher for this best of 3. How are you doing, man?
Quite fine. Rather excited to see this game. Should be, once again, a just matchup between two rather even skill level teams. Albumsheet, though, they are coming more or less just fresh from a 2-0 loss against Vega. Both of those games, at some point, you would have said that Albumsheet, they're ahead, they're going to win this game. But they managed to lose both of them, so maybe it's going to just affect them a little bit, but I don't think that it's going to just play too much into this.
Yeah, man, I was watching that first game for like a little bit, and they were doing okay, but I don't know, Vega apparently is too strong for them, and, well, BBC, I would say comparable to Vega, but definitely a little bit of an easier matchup there. We do see a Meepo being banned out first, which is a little bit heartbreaking. It kills me every time I see it. But Albumsheet certainly respecting Wii right now, and they're going to first pick the Ogre Magi, letting the Tidehunter get through. Death Prophet also a possibility for BBC right now. They have quite a few options since Broodmother got a rather early ban.
I guess against Balkan Bears, it's kind of a necessary ban as well, since they do run it. Some teams, like we saw yesterday, they're like, yeah, we're just going to go Axe, screw the Broodmother, we're just going to rape it with an Axe completely. So that can also work out, but Albumsheet themselves picking up a Puck now. I guess Puck is one of the heroes that can at least escape Jakiro's use of the Ice Buff combination. But BBC, they have great team fight with the Ravage, nice pushing with the Liquid Fire. So, and of course, decent lockdown with both the Ravage and the Ice Buff as well. So a pretty just solid start. Same for the Albumsheet side.
Yeah, both sides can go in quite a number of directions. For Albumsheet, they have the second pick after this initial banning phase. I would like to see them pick up the Venge right now. It goes very well with Ogre Magi, get the double stun combination going, and it also works very well with the Puck. BBC, with the Jakiro Tidehunter, their lanes are going to be fairly strong and also fairly tanky. Jakiro is one of the tankier int heroes, along with Ogre Magi being some of the tankiest, so it's going to probably not be the Jakiro mid. I haven't seen BBC do that for a very long time. Maybe it's a metagame thing, maybe it's just they don't like doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. I mean, it can be strong, but maybe they're going to reserve it against some certain heroes. Against Puck, it's definitely not as strong just because Puck can phase shift out the Liquid Fires. Almost every single one of them should be within his reach. So, not the greatest of matchups there, but BBC, going for the Disruptor, just they are more or less the only team that just plays the Disruptor. Well, at least, I mean, consistently. So, they pick it up almost every game.
Yeah, and Disruptor generally is one of those heroes that people would say, oh, you pick up Disruptor against X lineup or against X heroes. But BBC just pick up the Disruptor whenever they want to, and usually works out pretty well for them. It's going to add a little bit more utility into their team fight, is a pretty good answer to the Puck, because Static Storm comes out very, very quickly. So this is BBC pretty much getting heroes that they're comfortable with. Jakiro, Disruptor, they pick up all the time. I believe it's Pedrinho on the Tidehunter, or possibly Hockey on the Tidehunter. They are pretty comfortable with these heroes. Albumsheet, they pick up a Rubik. Not exactly that Venge, but I suppose Venge can't exactly steal a Ravage from Tidehunter.
Of course, it's really hard to actually steal it and properly use it as well without having a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff at the very least. So, if the Rubik kind of like has the regular support life, so to say, just running around with boots and nothing else, then stealing the Ravage and putting it to proper use is going to be rather hard. But Ice Path, still also a nice spell to steal. Maybe even Glimpse or Static Storm, something like that. But Ravage must be the biggest one to get.
Yeah, and it gets so much easier once you get any sort of mobility item as Rubik, a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger. Usually it's going to be Blink. Then you could actually steal Ravage and maybe actually get usage out of it. It is always hard to do because any Tidehunter that's worth his salt is going to be Anchor Smashing right after Ravage. You can't do it all the time, but generally it will be used, and oop, it's going to be a Phoenix for the BBC side. Still, I don't have a great read on this hero. I haven't seen him enough to know how good he is. BBC have been, I think this is the second time I've actually seen them pick it up, so good on them to let me have a sample size.
I've seen like only, I think, 2 Phoenixes, or at least I've casted 2 Phoenixes myself, I believe. One, just epic success, the other one, epic failure, so it's really hard to say indeed that how strong that hero can be, but so far, I mean, usually most people or most teams run the Phoenix offlane. This time around they have a Tidehunter as well on their lineup. Does this mean it's like a Tidehunter support or Phoenix mid lane, or what does this really indicate?
I don't really know for sure. Phoenix mid lane doesn't seem like the worst idea. He's not going to dominate the lane. He has 0 base armor, so that's kind of bad for BBC. But though Tidehunter support is certainly possible, I feel like it's probably might even be a little bit better to have Phoenix support. I don't quite know. I don't have enough experience with Phoenix to really know.
Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if it was BBC themselves, but I've seen one Phoenix be actually in the like safe lane core farm role as well. So it might have been BBC themselves. I'm not even too sure at this point. It's too many games, too bad of a memory on me as well. So it's a combination of the things. But we'll see soon enough, I guess, as the draft ends. But Albumsheet going for the 4th pick, taking quite a lot of time for that already. They have their 2 supports. They have supposedly their mid laner as well. Do they even go for something like a Centaur? Do they go for something that has like great attack speed to actually kill off the Supernova? Or is it just like once the Supernova comes out, do you escape immediately?
Well, it looks like the answer to the Supernova is going to be the latter choice. If Supernova does come out, then they're probably just going to run away. But with the lineup that Albumsheet have right now, all heroes are capable of stopping Phoenix for a little bit in order to shut him down, canceling the Icarus dive, stuff like that. So with the Doom pickup, they will try to probably Doom the Phoenix and then ignore him. And a Phoenix that is unable to cast spells is a very, very unhappy hero. So this is actually not a terrible pick from Albumsheet. Usually I don't really like the Doom, especially nowadays, but he's going to find his value in this game for sure. Up against Tide and Phoenix, those 2 heroes have some really crucial skills to cancel out.
No, most certainly so, man. So many games have been decided just because of Tidehunter. He has the refresher orb, but just can't use it because he's doomed. So might be one of the cases. It's not that easy to actually doom a Tidehunter in those cases, just because Tidehunter usually sitting in the back lines with a blink. So Doombringer has to wrap around or just wait for the perfect opportunity or something like that. Last bans though, Naga Siren taken out by Albumsheet. Falcon Bear spanning out an anti-mage themselves. So is it something like a Medusa coming now, or is it just spanning out an annoying core, the anti-mage?
Yeah, it's probably just going to be that annoying core. They don't really have that much crowd control. Disruptor has a couple of tools at dealing with the AM, but as far as hard lockdown, BBC are pretty much devoid of all of that. They have a couple of tools for Puck, but even Puck is going to have a free time. I think for Albumsheet, their last pick, looking for one more core, should be another one of those heroes that could abuse the lack of CC from BBC. So one of the spirits, maybe a Morphling, those types of heroes should be great for the Albumsheet side to pick up right now. And the laning situation for them should be pretty decent no matter who they get.
So I guess Albumsheet, they have like reasonable roaming as well with the Ogre Magi and Rubik. Telekinesis into Fire Blast. If they're level 2, Ignite and Fable to follow as well. Or maybe just Telekinesis into Ignite. I guess Ignite is a slightly stronger level 1 ability depending on where the position is, where you're going to find the Kank. But do they have enough just AoE to clear off the illusions later on of the Terrorblade?
Yeah, that's probably going to be an issue. Maybe that makes Ember Spirit a little bit better, get Battle Fury, and then hope for the best there.
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, there's not too much lockdown on Balkan Bears. Yes, they have the Static Storm, which is probably the most annoying thing. But Ice Path, usually not enough to kill off an Ember Spirit, although Yule Scepter Ice Path still pretty annoying. But if you have a Remnant, you can get out. But Albumsheet going for a Weaver. I mean, it's a good carry, AoE-wise. Extremely lackluster, I guess. Sukuchi through at some point is just not going to do anything at all anymore. So Albumsheet, they probably want to end this game before the Terrorblade gets too huge, but can they do so? I kind of have my doubts.
A lot of that is going to fall upon the Phoenix and the Tidehunter. Depending on how well they do, it's going to be that much easier or more difficult for Albumsheet in order to end the game. Weaver late game is still really good. Doom on Terrorblade is also pretty decent, although I think he would rather save his ultimate for someone else. Terrorblade, as far as killing him off with direct damage, Albumsheet, I think they should have enough most of the time, but killing off the rest of his illusions, that's where it's really going to get difficult. I suppose you could go for Weaver Maelstrom, and that actually doesn't sound too terrible, but you don't really want to be going down that route.
Yeah, it's like a reasonable item on a Weaver, especially now that the chain attack can also proc stuff. But we'll see. And just to introduce the lineups anyway, so for Albumsheet on the Dire side, Undershock will be playing the Weaver, leaving Inquisitor on the Rubik with Pignum on the Ogre Magi, Chomi heading towards the mid lane on the Puck, and the last one will be Afterlife on the offlane Doom.
And on the Balkan Bear side, Pedrinho is going to be playing the Phoenix, currently flying down towards bottom. He's going to be joined by Levi on the Disruptor for now. Might actually be full on dual lanes. Terrorblade is yellow, and he's going to be played by Wii. Over towards top, Hockey is going to be on the Tidehunter, and that leaves Solitude towards the support Jakiro. I have never seen a yellow Terrorblade before. This is weird.
I have seen it. I remember it now. It was Wii himself as well, so I guess that makes kind of sense. And that got me thinking that maybe it was the kind of lineup that BBC ran, like exactly the same, having the safe lane Phoenix, mid lane Terrorblade. It really feels extremely reminiscent, so it might have been the same case. I mean, BBC, they are one of the teams that do tend to run like just one-on-one exact copies of the lineups. If they work, of course, why the hell would you change it? And if the enemy doesn't pan out the heroes, you can go for it. So probably Phoenix will be farming up on the safe lane for a little while, but will become rather aggressive once he has like level 8 or 9.
And if it is just going to be the Doom on this bottom lane, killing off the Doom certainly possible with these two heroes, although they don't really even have to be looking for that. Phoenix, his downside is that he has 0 base armor, and that is going to make him very fragile. Doom can't really abuse that. Doom has, I guess, 3 armor right now, so he's slightly tankier than the Phoenix, but he's going to be taking chip harassment for pretty much the entirety of this lane. So Afterlife, though he does have Devour to catch up to guarantee his farm, he's still going to be in for a world of hurt down on bottom lane. And speaking of world of hurt, we in the mid lane, well, he's going to take an Ignite. He's actually gone for Quelling Blade first versus Chomi. I think it was pretty clear that it was going to be a Puck solo mid lane. This Terrorblade might not get any value out of this Quelling Blade at all. I think he was going to be wishing he had a Stout Shield right about now.
Did you expect the Doom to be there and Chomi to be offlane or something? Or the Puck to be offlane rather? I'm not too sure. It's definitely going to make his life there a lot harder in the mid lane. I mean, 0 lasted so far. Quelling Blade doesn't do you any good if you can't actually approach the creeps.
We will be able to use additional damage from the Metamorphosis to last hit, but then you get a ranged Quelling Blade, and that's not exactly a value item. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this decision from the Terrorblade is the best. The Stout Shield will be helping him so much more, and it's, you know, 2 items that cost relatively similar as far as the gold, but they could make a world of difference right now, especially with Bignum just constantly sitting on this lane as well. Wee's going to get a little bit of experience here, but this feels like it's going to play like it was an off-lane Terrorblade. At least he'll have that much farm. It is definitely a dangerous situation. I don't really know if BBC would have had a better laner for the mid lane, but this is probably just going to be Chomi running this lane.
Probably so. I mean, Metamorphosis is just too long of a cooldown to use it reliably to farm up. At some point you can go into the jungle, and I guess in there, if you have the illusions, the Quelling Blade will start helping out a little bit more. But he's even spamming out the Reflection. I guess a 50 mana just spell, it's not all that bad, although it doesn't do the craziest amount of damage either. But Terrorblade waiting for his bottle to come out. And does Bignum want to come in again? I guess he does. Maybe throw out another Ignite or 2. Just, if you slow down the Terrorblade, it's always something that you should be doing anyway if you're up against one. But how long can Puck just keep the Terrorblade at bay here?
I don't think there's any level that we suddenly becomes more powerful in the Puck. Sunder is going to make it so that Puck is going to have to be a little bit more careful killing off Wii, but as far as zoning him out, he's going to be able to do that consistently for pretty much the rest of the game. And Bignum on the Ogre, Inquisitor on the Rubik, they can make rotations down towards the Terrorblade. So far they're not, because they have their hands full with this, quite frankly, very deadly, very annoying dual lane of BBC. But Chomi, even though he may not be able to kill off Wii, he's still getting a free time over in mid. Actually, Wii starting to actually do a little bit better. He's actually accrued 14 CS. Now, even if not ahead of Chomi, so Stout Shield or not, it seems to be working out for Wii right now.
Yeah, the start was slow, but I guess the lane has been pushed out onto the high ground of BBC constantly, and oh god, I missed it, but Afterlife got the first blood, almost made it there to the end, but really didn't expect the Doombringer to be able to solo kill a Phoenix.
Yeah, he was trying to win that Phoenix with the Fire Spirit minus attack speed. Doom had a slightly more armor, and Phoenix, as I said, his weakness is in the physical right clicks. If you get into a fist fight with anyone as Phoenix, you feel like you should be able to win because you're a giant flaming bird, but you're actually just very, very soft. So Doom is going to claim first blood in a lane where he honestly should not be getting anything. This is a very dangerous lane for him, but Pedrinho taking one too many shots is probably just overestimating how tanky he is. If he had a Ring of Protection, he definitely would have gotten that kill.
Well, really nicely done from the Doombringer. If he wants to go for a Midas, gonna get it a little bit faster. Did go for the bottle though, which is also gonna be nice. Until Levi, oh god, Levi. He left the bounty room for V to pick up, but Afterlife finds it instead. Although now he might lose his life. Metamorphosis, Reflection as well. Kinetic Field does come out. It might be the kill with the level 2 Glimpse as well, if they're gonna use it. Nope, the Glimpse is there, but V was backing up for a little while. There's the Icarus dive though for the slow, and it's gonna be enough to get the kill, I believe.
Levi's gonna get really messed up in the process, but Bignum doesn't have damage to get that kill. Though he has a lot of invis, so he might just stalk the Disruptor, and if they split off, maybe he gets it. Now he's instead going to chase after Padrinho, and that should not result into a kill. So it's just going to be a kill on the Doom, and the ganking Terrorblade, I guess that wasn't really a gank, but is able to put out some serious damage, provided he has his Metamorphosis up. That's pretty much par for the course for Terrorblade. You will always be able to put out some serious damage whenever you have Metamorphosis, just a matter of timings. That cooldown is obnoxiously long, and it's obnoxiously powerful, the skill, so I guess it's all fair, but unfortunately the Doom Afterlife was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. I mean, it was nice that he got the rune, but maybe if he had just gone towards his own base or towards the own side, but Levi gets Telekinesis up, Fire Blast, and now as well Ignite. There's no escape from this. Ice Path will buy a little bit of time, maybe a counter kill onto Inquisitor with the Dual Breath as well, but Chomi is coming in, so even Jakiro has to back off.
And Jakiro's only level 3 right now, level 4 in the Tidehunter. The leveling on the top lane for the BBC side is not that great, and Jakiro, as far as killing off heroes, you need maxed out Dual Breath if you're going to be doing it convincingly. He's good at killing towers at low levels, because Liquid Fire is pretty effective at doing that in general, but he's not going to be able to bail out anyone with an Ice Path for much longer, for very long, especially a soft hero like Disruptor, so Albumsheet, they still have the support advantage, and they're going to look to push it. They have level 4 on the Rubik, level 3 on the Ogre Magi, even though he only has 2 skills. They're going to try to go for Wii, but this is a Terrorblade with Sunder, and he is trying to bait them out with an Illusion. I don't think this is going to be happening, though he's still farming up. It's going to be Solitude to be taking the bullet. He's going to get lifted up into an Ignite. Fire Blast, actually he gets fogged. There's the Fire Blast, but now on the high ground, Solitude's going to have time for an Ice Path. Bignum and Inquisitor both can get mini-stunned by that, but not for too long. They will not be able to continue chasing because Hockey's coming around from the back. Is he just going to block them? Yes, he cannot. They cannot get past him. Wee's going to come forward as well. Does not have Metamorphosis this time. 3 seconds away from it. Bignum trying to get through the crack, but he just can't fit. He will be let through as Wee has to back off because Chomi has arrived, landing a 2-man coil. Wee now finally going to Metamorph, but it's too late. He doesn't even have time to Sunder. Hockey now has bugs on him, and Undershock is right on top of this Tidehunter. Tide is going to be going down. Inquisitor is around the corner with the Fade Bolt if needed, not even needed. BBC, they had pretty good positioning there, just blocking off everyone. They literally cannot go through until the puck comes in, and that burst damage is way too high. Too much magic damage for a Terrorblade to deal with.
I mean, Terrorblade is just such a squishy hero early on. Did have even Sunder skilled on level 6. Sometimes Terrorblades completely skip that for at least such an early level, but couldn't just use it. Went for the Metamorphosis, and that spell went randomly on cooldown because he died straight after. In the meantime, though, Padrinho getting a kill on Afterlife definitely going to help out. But since Afterlife is level 6 now, the Phoenix has to play a little bit more carefully just because a Doom into just a few right clicks being chased down by Scorcher might be enough to get the kill.
Man, I really wanted to see Padrinho get that kill. I have no idea what happened. I assume he just landed a whole bunch of spirits and then went into his egg, and then Doom couldn't do anything. But regardless, Phoenix is going to be getting a kill on the Doombringer down on the bottom lane, while all that top lane chaos is going to be going down. Tidehunter still not leveling up the best, and Weaver is doing very well for himself. Has a Midas and has been working with it for, I don't believe, the longest time, but it's already on cooldown for about a third, and it's only 8 minutes in, so he's going to get some serious value out of this item. And BBC's ability to put pressure on the Weaver is pretty much non-existent. They have okay heroes for dealing with Weaver once fights start breaking out, but actually ganking him, that's damn near impossible with their heroes.
I mean, maybe if Jakiro had like a Yule Scepter to get the Ice Path going, but that's not going to be there for a really long time since it is a support Jakiro. So far, hasn't really gotten anything done at all. At least Ogre Magi doesn't have too much farm, so he's on par with the Jakiro. But 4 and 2 Albumsheet looking pretty good so far. Puck, 1.4k in the bank as well, so going for a straight off Blink Dagger Rush. And I have to say, in most cases at least, as Ogre, whoa, they find the Disruptor bottom lane. Well, Doom wasn't even necessary for that. Has the bottle to get the mana if they want to go for Padrinho, but in most cases, I completely forgot. Oh yeah, I like Blink Dagger Rush and Puck rather than going for Power Treads into Blink.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the better build as well, most of the time. If you get like a whole bunch of gold dumped on you, then hey, maybe you might as well get power treads if you're still planning on farming. But either way, it's the Disruptor to die down towards bottom lane. A very, very deep dive with the help of Inquisitor and Bignum. Afterlife is going to help secure that one for the team. It did force the Phoenix to teleport back. He was going up towards the top lane. Again, I don't really know if he could do anything versus Undershock, especially since actually they do have Static Storm now. Maybe if they get a glimpse, they'll be able to kill off the Weaver, but suddenly there's a Rubik here as well. Levi's going to land the Static Storm. However, Undershock gets right out from underneath it. He's going to go invis. However, tied onto with a blind Anchor Smash is going to kill him off. No True Sight, no problem. Even though they had 3 sentries, they weren't dropping any, so it's going to be kill on Weaver regardless. I guess if you have Anchor Smash AoE, Static Storm AoE, you can just blindly throw out stuff, and Weaver is pretty soft. He might die to it.
I mean, Disruptor being level 60 early is maybe somewhat of a surprise to Albumsheet as well. At least considering their own support levels, they weren't expecting BBC to have one at level 6. But definitely paying off there, and although it didn't catch the hero, it kind of boxed him off towards the just stack, which made it so that nowhere to run Anchor Smash, more or less guaranteed they hit. So nice kill there. I guess the Hand of Might is slightly punished now, although I don't think like boots or anything would have made a huge difference. But Hockey throws down a ward, sees Bignum as well, so I don't think mid lane is in really too much trouble. Solitude, does he really want to counter it? Never mind, gonna get ignited and back off.
Yeah, and Tidehunter after that kill now has hit his level 6, so there's a chance that BBC could pop a Ravage for a Weaver kill, and I think for pretty much any stage of the game, that's going to be worth it, assuming you do in fact get that kill. So Tidehunter is a big useful ultimate up. The Phoenix also is working with his Supernova. So far has moved over towards the mid lane, leaving bot lane completely empty. I'd like to see Wee move down there, but seems like he has different plans right now. He's going to go back towards mid. He does have 2 points in the illusions, plus 4 in Metamorphosis. I guess BBC, if they really want to, can try to go for a tower push right now, having all their ultimates up, having the pushing power of Terrorblade. It won't be the worst idea, but there's a free lane bottom. If they're not actively pushing, they should be actively farming, and Wee is probably pretty much doing neither.
It's really weird to see that your safe lane is just completely free. Now Bignum is like, oh, free! The enemy safe lane, I'm just gonna farm that up because it feels to be the safest place on the map, just because nobody's there. But the smoke is there on top lane, Padrino isn't smoked, but might be able to get a surprise anyway. They do need the Static Storm though to kill off Undershock, I think.
Yeah, or just a random Ravage into... I think, yeah, Ravage into Static Storm is going to be the safest way to do it. Padrinho in the area, not smoked up, not relevant. There are no wards here for the Albumsheet side. Bignum does have a TP scroll, so he's going to be able to get back up there. Chomi has one as well, and Doom, yeah, everyone has a TP scroll. So killing off Undershock in this situation is going to be incredibly difficult. Killing off Inquisitor, though, now that's an easy task, and oh, he's not going to see anyone. Sneaky, sneaky dragons, always hiding in trees. And Inquisitor, well, he's maybe smelling something out. So far, BBC, they're keeping Levi and Solitude hidden. But what are they actually waiting for? Random Static Storm? Kinetic Field has to go up first, and I don't think you could actually surprise Undershock by that much.
Oh, no, almost so damn close. Kinetic Field, even the glimpse is not enough. Padrino does go in with a huge Icarus dive, but now the Dream Coil onto 2 in return. They're gonna catch Levy at least, if not nobody else. The stun is there. Padrino's Supernova already used, another Icarus dive. Not gonna accomplish anything, and there's the Doom onto Hockey. Can't even go for the Ravage. Undershock, he's just free to roam around. Now gonna go for Padrino first. Gonna turn around for Hockey instead. Easy kill. Can they chase down Phoenix as well? I do believe Undershock should have enough. Never mind. They're gonna give up, but just 2 kills. They don't lose a single one. And oh, they might lose a tower though. Chomi does go into the mid lane, trying to do something to me. Another TP is coming in. They don't have the Dream Coil anymore though, so I don't think they can get the kill, or can they? Telekinesis into Fate Bolt. Thunder. Oh, it's gonna come out, and one more right click. Gets the kill. He's still gonna lose his life, but at least he got the tower plus the kill.
Yeah, and that was actually... Oh, wait, not done yet, because Phoenix is going to dive forward for Chomi. Lands a Fire Spirit that will burn down the puck. Afterlife going to look to go on Pedrino. Gets a multicast from Bignum. That's going to secure that trade there. Hockey moving forward, wants to throw the Ravage, although is going to think better of it. Instead, just going to settle for an Anchor Smash onto Bignum. But 12 armor, not going to make that Anchor Smash hit very hard. Hockey and Levi still chasing after Bignum. They will catch him in the field, but can they actually kill off this Ogre? With the Ravage, they might be able to, but Bignum's still going to get a lot of space, especially with another 2x multicast. Bignum has been practicing his Ogre. Meantime, Afterlife is chasing down after the Disruptor, will chop him down, and then make his way out of there. Ravage committed for nothing, and a huge series of events that benefits Albumsheet in pretty much every single way. Yeah, they lost the Tier 1 tower, Albumsheet, but they're going to be more than okay with drawing off the Ravage, drawing out all the ultimates from BBC up on top lane, taking a massive team fight, and they pretty much did not lose anyone important. At that first initiation from BBC, it was certainly a brave attempt, like Ice Path randomly over the trees with a Static Storm. That will be a way to kill off Weaver, but once they missed that, they should have backed off. There was no winning there.
I mean, definitely so. I guess they got a little bit overeager. They were like, yeah, we have the Ravage if need to be. Suddenly Doom came in from behind, got the Doom on Tidehunter, and they had to escape. So a little bit unfortunate there. Maybe if they had Terrorblade in the proper fight, instead of just him pushing, maybe it could have been enough. But Terrorblade's still getting a reasonable amount of farm. He's surpassed now by the Weaver, but Weaver, a lot of that gold on him is just the Hand of Midas so far. But at least he's number 1 in net worth. Blink Dagger picked up on Tide as well, so actually not that bad of a timing for Hockey, I guess. But, well, if the first Ravage was just an indication, oh, the Doom onto Padrino with the Icarus dive. He got it off before, but he can't use the spell once again to just cancel it, so easy kill.
Just stop flying, Phoenix. You don't have to cast anything. Just stop flapping your wings and you'll be fine. But unfortunately, once you start flapping, you can't stop, and Phoenix is going to be going down up towards top lane. The Blink Dagger on Tidehunter probably is going to be BBC's best way at actually killing off this Weaver at any given time. They're actually going to take the Rubik down towards bottom. Just a couple of supports, picking off another support, but it's up towards top where Albumsheet are going to strike and take the first tower. Hockey's going to blink forward, look for the kill onto Undershock. There is a time lapse here, and Bignum is also in the area. Can they actually kill off Hockey? With Bignum's probably like 50% multicast percentage, yeah, they can. See, Bignum is really good at this hero.
I mean, he's played it enough, so you get good. It's like with any hero. You polish your skill with it. That's exactly how it works with Ogre Magi as well. And with that kill, although Chomi, he did go for the power trace after all, still has the Blink Dagger now. And he's probably gonna want to surprise the bottom lane with the new Blink.
And I think these two heroes are going to be very surprised, especially Levi, who's going very deep behind enemy lines, trying to go for Inquisitor. Suddenly, Chomi's here with the Blink Dagger, and he doesn't even catch Inquisitor with the Kinetic Field. Levi's going to be going down right now. I've seen so many Disruptors lately just mess up that combo. Solitude also is going to get sniped out by Bignum. I think it might be actually be 75% chance for multicast for Bignum, because pretty much every single stun he's thrown has been multicast. That one wasn't even relevant. He would have gotten the kill anyway. It just, you know, took him a little bit less time, but I really don't know what the plan was there for Levi. It didn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, that was extremely weird. Maybe they got a little bit carried away with killing off the Rubik before, just with the 2 supports. So they thought like, yeah, we can take on anybody. But the Blink Doom onto Padrino, does Afterlife even have enough solo without an Orb of Venom? I don't think so, and he's gonna have to back off. That's a little bit too optimistic. Hockey, oh, never mind, they get the glimpse back. And that's gonna be probably the death of Afterlife. Sundered up as well, and well, I'm not too sure what he even had planned there.
I don't know why we was at such low HP, so the Sunder actually did damage, but hey, it worked out. I suppose he just thought that he had a multiplier on the level depth. If he did, for sure, Phoenix would have gone down there, but Phoenix packing a cloak, not going to be taking too much damage from that Doom, and Doom, as far as blinking in and dooming, if you don't have some sort of way to keep up to the target, it's pretty pointless. You're not going to get that kill just with an ultimate cast like that, so Doom goes down, gets punished because of a play that probably shouldn't have been made in the first place, but it's over towards the mid lane. We see everyone being layered with fire. And a blink forward. Ravage going to connect onto 3 with the Supernova as well. Inquisitor for sure is going to die right now. He's going to put a little bit of damage to Hockey before he does go down, but he will be the one to fall as Phoenix does explode and kills off Rubik in the process. But that is Supernova and Ravage used only for a Rubik kill. Not entirely sure if that's worth it. Maybe if they take a tier 1 or tier 2 tower up towards the top lane as well, they might actually be able to do so. They glimpse back the Ogre Magi back to the mid lane. He's going to run straight into Hockey, who's just going to slow him down as best they can. But no, the tier 2 tower up top is going to be defended. That was steep investment for only 1 kill.
I mean, just the Ravages haven't been able to land too much. Oh, Chomi gets the Dream Coil onto Hockey in return. Maybe can crack and shell his way out. Never mind. Just too much damage coming his way. Bignum didn't even need the Fire Blast. But I totally have a theory about why Bignum is so skilled. When we're not looking, he just goes into the jungle and Fire Blast creeps. And there is only a single Fire Blast, so when he goes to the heroes when it actually matters, he gets the multicast.
So if I keep looking at him, then he'll suddenly become a bad player, right? So I'm just going to keep not watching him so we can see the multicasts flowing. If your theory, that's how we are going to test your theory, at least. It's going to be, well, Albumsheet, they defend all their towers. They get the kill on the Tidehunter. They are going to take a bottom lane tower as well. Undershock is well on his way to whatever item he wants to go for. With a Ring of Health and 2,000 gold in the bank, it seems like it's possible that he wants to go for a Lincoln Sphere. It's not the best item in this game. It blocks Glimpse and Gush and Sunder. That's probably not going to be worth it. So I'd like to see him move towards a different item, but no matter what he goes for, he's incredibly wealthy. Wee's doing pretty well for himself as well. He has a Mantis style completed. Might be an Eye of Scotty as his next item, but the Terrorblade so far just hasn't had the type of contribution that the Weaver has, and they're going to run into Padrinho and Levi. Both of them are going to get silenced. There is an Icarus dive out of here, or just Fire Spirits. Kinetic Field going to disengage. It's going to be Solitude to be maybe in a little trouble. No, everyone's just going to back off. That was Albumsheet playing it very, very safely. They did not have a coil for another like 10 seconds when that happened, so maybe that's why they backed off, but it is definitely not a position that you want to be fighting when the enemy has a tier 2 so close.
On the shock chest was a little bit too low on mana on the Weaver, I think, to actually follow up properly. It was like one more Sokuchi and then barely maybe have enough for time lapse. So they do back off for now. We keep some farming, but like we said, Weaver has done a lot more in this game so far. At least I mean, if it wouldn't be farming, it would be just horrible for Balkan Bears, but thanks to him being just #1 in net worth, it's rather fine for them still, I believe. I mean, they have the Blink Ravage available once again, but Puck, he got a pretty damn fast Hand of Midas. He got like a 14-minute blink, I believe, and now the Midas is done as well.
It's a pretty standard build as far as Pucks nowadays, and the timing is pretty darn good as well, so Puck is going to be guaranteed some items a little bit down the line. Of course, for right now, they have to worry about their bottom lane. This tower is going to fall. Bignum is going to be the one to rotate in. Here comes an Ignite. We'll throw onto Levi. Won't do too much. This tower is going to be destroyed. Chomi going to take a trip back to the fountain. Unfortunately for him, this is going to represent an opportunity for BBC to actually get something done. Undershock is going to be spotted out. Glimpse available. No, it's not. Never mind. He's going to be walking out of there. Static Storm. Wow. Are you really... Does he really think that he was going to get that? Because that seems very unlikely for any hero, let alone a max movement speed Weaver in Shikuchi.
Commitment, man. Yo, if you keep throwing them out, one will land. Although so far I don't think they've managed to actually catch Weaver a single time. Now Weaver even going to come in and just pull off the bounty rune. Levi can't do anything about it at all. It's really, I think Weaver has escaped at least like 3 or maybe 4 just Kinetic Field Static Storm combinations like that.
Maybe next time for the Disruptor. So far, I haven't really been too impressed with Levi's play on said hero. I've seen him play it a couple of times in the past, and for sure, this hasn't really been a problem for him. Maybe it's the fact that he's just always trying to go for a Weaver, and they are lacking setup stun. If they had a Scarith Mage, I'm sure these would all be landing because they wouldn't have to worry about Shikuchi, but they're going to try to go on the bottom lane one more time. Levi and Solitude, this time being joined by Hockey and Padrinho. They have a Ravage, they have a Supernova. Whoever they want to go for, they probably should be able to take, unless it's Weaver. And Weaver has so far just been the bane of BBC. Killed him off once with a blind Anchor Smash. So far, nothing. And if they wait a little bit too long, they're going to have to worry about Afterlife and Bignum, who are smoked up and also rotating in. Although it's likely that it's going to be Wee to take the bullet. There's the smoke dispelled. There is no Doom just yet. Wee's going to split. Afterlife's going to clear most of those off. Now Wee is going to get doomed. But he's already shapeshifted. Maybe he's going to kill off Afterlife, and he will do so. Now he's going to work onto Bignum. Oh, actually didn't kill Afterlife, just falling short. Solitude's going to come from behind, gets multicasted right in the face, and Doom is free to walk out. Everyone else from BBC are going to be just fine, and they're actually going to kill off the Weaver in the end. Ravage was used, and it was enough to bring him down with the help of Static Storm. I suppose it's an even trade, though, man, that Terrorblade turnaround was certainly threatening.
Yeah, it's at first... Pretty sure Albumsheet, they were like, no way this is the real Terrorblade, so they didn't go for the immediate Doom. Had they gone for it, easy kills, no just Metamorphosis, no illusions to do the counter damage. But Doom, thank God that he made it out there, otherwise it would have been a pretty huge disaster, to be honest. He's going for an I-game scepter straight off though, by the looks of it, has the point booster already. So gonna boost up his survivability, but Tidehunter picks up a Hood, has a Hatred as well. They do have double Hood though, but Phoenix just has a casual Hood of Defiance, whereas gonna go for BKB next. Maybe a little bit of a waste to just carry a random Hoot there as well like that, but they're going to have a pipe nonetheless at some point.
This is definitely going to be miscommunication, a miscommunication issue at the very least. It's nice to have a pipe on your team for sure. I don't think anyone's going to be arguing that, but though Albumsheet have okay magic damage, they don't have like exclusively magic damage. You have to worry about the Weaver as well, so I think getting one pipe is fine for the team, but the second Hood, like, just casually as an item, if that was planned out, is not a correct decision. Yeah, you're going to be able to protect yourself against the Puck. Maybe you get up against Bignum a little bit more as well, but anything else would have been great to defend yourself against the Weaver. Maybe getting the Heaven's Halberd for Padrinho a little bit faster would have made the difference, or will make a difference in the game in the future, but who knows, what's done is done, and maybe the Hood is going to end up saving both of their lives. You never really know, you just can't plan for the head.
By the way, before I forget, in the last fight against the Terrorblade, Bignum He fire blasted an illusion, didn't get the multicast, but purely because it was an illusion. Had it been the correct hero, 100% multicast, man.
Yeah, it was a test to see if it was an illusion. If it was illusion, no multicast. If it wasn't, multicast. Sounds pretty good to me, man. Bignum has it all figured out. This guy is
But look at his
next
items
level.
as well. He's only a Blade of Alacrity short of the Aghanim Scepter.
And is it flying out to him right now? It looks like it isn't, but it will soon be coming. Once that happens, he'll have another nuke to throw out, and this is going to be not the fastest Aghanim Scepter I've seen on Ogre Magi, but certainly fast enough to be threatening. And really, if he's getting this many multicasts, then, man, an Unrefined Fire Blast is going to be devastating. They're going to try to set up for Weaver over in mid lane BBC, but Blink Ravage, unfortunately, was 5 seconds away. And looks like Albumsheet are going to turn around. Multicast into Levi, confirmed for not illusion. He's going to get jumped upon, though, by the Phoenix. It's a little bit too late, though. The Sun is going to be there, but it's a little bit too late for that as well. Chomi in the back end is going to run very far away. We trying to catch up with him. That's probably not going to happen because this is a puck we're talking about. We'll phase shift the Ice Path, and we'll get hit with a dual breath. But Solitude now is going to be munched down by Afterlife and Aftershock. Finally, there is a Ravage from Hockey, but it's not really going to be doing too much. Pedrino with another Icarus dive. Going to be doing next to nothing as Hockey gets lifted up into the air. Another 3x multicast from Bignum. Are you kidding me? Hockey is doomed to fall right now. He's going to turn around and maybe get a little bit of heal from the Sunray, but Anchor Smash stolen by Inquisitor will kill him off in the end. Now Blink forward, Afterlife is finally going to unleash that doom onto the Phoenix with Undershock chasing. I think this Phoenix is dead meat. Wee's going to pop the Metamorphosis, try to go for Inquisitor, or whoever else he can get his hands on. Inquisitor probably is going to be the casualty here, unless Undershock runs out of Invis. He's going to be going down, and that looks like that's about it. Although the Dyer's Courier also goes down in the process. It's definitely not the best fight for BBC, though their Terrorblade does survive, and they get a Courier kill, so I guess they salvage it by the very end. Now they're trying to look for more. They're not going to find anyone, but man, that was just such an awkward fight from BBC, especially that Supernova.
And all things considered, went pretty damn good for them. Although Inquisitor might still be in trouble, has the blink, gets back to safety for now. We just creates an illusion of himself, but the Courier kill, it carried the link ends of the Weaver, so it's not going to have it for another 2.5 minutes. So he cannot be as safe in the fights. And Pipe also done now on Tidehunter, so maybe the next fight will be a little bit better. I mean, the Ravage was pretty decent anyway, connected on at least 3 heroes. The funniest thing was the Puck. He went from the trees with the Illusion Orb straight, like literally next to the Tidehunter who just Ravaged. He was like, oh, I'm safe. Nope, into Ravage.
Yeah, Puck very elusive, but at a certain point, you're going to be running into someone at some point. And Yule Scepter phase shifts into, or phase shift Yule Scepter into another phase shift is pretty darn good, but can only save you for so long. But it is Afterlife on the hunt. He's going to run into a Disruptor with an Aghanim Scepter Doom in 13 seconds. Also seeing Pedrinho here, maybe he's going to decide against this. If he had Ogre Magi and his like billion damage nuke here, I'm sure he would go for it, but he's instead going to fall back, playing it a little bit safer. But seriously, man, Bignum. Though he got 2 consecutive 3 times multicast in that fight. Now as an Aghanim Scepter, this Ogre Magi is like the secret carry because he knows how to manipulate RNG. He's like literally Scarlet Witch.
It's not RNG for him, man. It's purely calculated.
It's just a number generator, not random.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works for him. First, he just goes with into a couple of creeps, and the thing is that even if, or rather when we're not looking, he uses it on creeps but doesn't lose mana. That's how good he is.
Ogre Magi is thinking up some next level tactics. He has pretty decent intelligence growth, so I wouldn't put it past him. Actually, his intelligence growth is really bad, especially when you consider his strength growth, which is understandable considering it's Ogre Magi. But at any rate, BBC, they're still up on top lane. They are going to be pushing in. Wee has his Eye of Scotty complete with Amanda Style. Quite a bit of net worth on this hero. This is a hero that is capable of just 1v5ing the entire enemy team, assuming he doesn't get doomed. And if he has Ravage Supernova support at all, he will be fine. Puck is going to get the tower denied. That's actually really hard to do up against this many illusions from the Terrorblade. So it's going to be hurting BBC, but they're going to be happy with the fact that the tower is down regardless. And they still have their ultimates up, so maybe even they want to go for a little bit more. Metamorphosis slowly starting to time out, but if we makes a pretty giant army of illusions, they could put a little bit of chip damage onto the tower and be pretty safe in doing so. Now they're going to fall back. Wait 100 seconds and then try to go for another tier 2.
So we getting pretty damn scary, about 3.5k net worth ahead of Weaver at this point. Weaver, of course, will get his Lincoln Sphere now, at least another 2k on top of that, but it's pretty far from actually being a scary, like, right-click damage hero. But what's his next item choice even on the Terrorblade? Is it something like a Butterfly to try to build lifesteal, or what's the build for you?
I think if I was playing Terrorblade, I would probably be looking for a Butterfly right now, maybe even a BKB. Like, there is a lot of magical damage on the Albumsheet side. Stuff that you have to protect yourself from, Puck, Rubik, and Ogre all wielding threats. So BKB or Butterfly for Wii, and that would... The ultimate decision really decides on how much money he's going to be getting before BBC actually decide to fight next. BKB is a little bit cheaper, so if BBC want to go for something right now, then you might as well pick up an Ogre Club or something like that.
I guess it's a viable choice. Just BKB not going to be bad for sure. Doom does go through it, but then again, Doom probably wants to target Tidehunter rather than the Terrorblade. I mean, it's nice to have the Terrorblade doomed, of course, especially if it's before the Metamorphosis, but the chance of actually dooming an illusion just by, like, accident, it is maybe too high for him to even attempt it.
Yeah, it's not something that you would really plan on. It's like, oh, well, there's the fact that I might fat finger the Doom, but usually Terrorblade is really clustered up and all the illusions are going to be attacking really quickly and really hard, so you don't really have that much time to figure out which one is real if you're Afterlife. So it is certainly a possibility that we base that out once or twice, but whether or not that's actually going to happen is ultimately up to Afterlife. How steady are his hands? Can he figure out which one's real, and can he throw out the Doom on the right target? Maybe we're going to see it miss, and I'm sure I'm going to make a big deal out of that if it does happen, but we with 3,000 gold has a couple of options moving forward. There are 3 Hands of Midas ticking away for Albumsheet. Doom finishing up his Aghanim Scepter. That was done quite a little while ago. Weaver with his Lincoln Sphere 2k in the bank as well, and Puck with the Yule Scepter. This is a lot of income for Albumsheet, and BBC, they're pretty much working off mostly their teamfight ultimates. It's their teamfight ultimates plus Terrorblade at this point, so I think they have to press their advantage before Terrorblade is going to be facing up against 3 heroes with way too much cash.
My god, this Terrorblade, it's ridiculous how fast he farms. Like, literally a minute ago, maybe even less, he was like 3.5k ahead of Weaver, suddenly nearing 5k already. Chomi does come in though, uses the blink, Jones back out. Just lots of displacements or whatever going on for him. But funny enough, 29 minutes in, there hasn't been a single Roche. Of course, there's no Vengeful Spirit, because usually teams with Vengeful Spirit always take Roche, but it's not too common these days to actually have Roche standing 30 minutes in.
The only minus armor or Roshaning tools are on BBC's side. They really just don't want to go for Roshan just yet until it's Afterlife to start the Roshan for the Albumsheet side. He's going to be dueling up against that guy, and with Bloodlust, Doom is almost as big as Roshan. There is a Terrorblade nearby. He's going to get lifted up by Inquisitor. Multicast, of course, 3 times onto Wii. Secondary multicast, not enough mana for it. Wii is actually all alone. Gets Sunder out, but it actually doesn't heal him that much. Here comes the huge ultimates combination with the Static Storm as well. The Supernova looks like it will crack. Yes, it will. Phoenix is down. Ravage is going to connect into a couple, and Terrorblade is going to go down in the end. Now Coil onto Levi and Solitude. Chomi's going to make his way out of there as Undershock's going to get right on top of these 2 supports and kill them both off in a hurry. Where's the Tidehunter? He's off to the south, and it's going to be pretty much a clean sweep for Albumsheet. Even with getting 3 people hit by a Ravage and the Supernova from the Phoenix, it just wasn't quite enough, because from the beginning, BBC did not have a Terrorblade there.
And that's really has been the story. Every single fight that Albumsheet win, the Terrorblade is either farming, pushing, or just doing something else. And it could have gone even worse for them. Bignam, his regular Fire Blast was off cooldown, or on cooldown rather, for 1 more second when he had to stun up with the unrefined Fire Blast on the Wii. Had he had the normal Fire Blast, he would have gotten the second stun anyway, since unrefined Fire Blast, you can always cast it, doesn't matter how much mana you have. After the unrefined one though, since he doesn't have a Soul Ring, couldn't go for the normal one anymore. That's really the reason that he didn't get doomed immediately and got like the Manta style and Sunder off. In the end, makes little difference anyway, since well, a 4-4-1 just sweep, as was erosion for them. They don't even pause now that Doom is dead anyway, but I guess the pause will come out now.
Or they just don't even need the Doom. He has Hand of Midas and Devour that he could be using to get more gold right now, but it seems like Afterlife just going for a quick reconnect, at least.
Nobody even knows that he's gone. It's like, oh crap. He's not moving!
Why isn't Afterlife talking right now? Oh, he's not here. Well, maybe he really wanted that Aegis.
Maybe so. It's like, screw this, guys, you're not giving the Aegis to me, I quit. You're on your own.
Either I'm getting Aegis or I'm not playing the game.
That would be so sick, man.
Afterlife confirmed 9-year-old.
Oh god, I can totally imagine just such a thing happening on a pop. Although even in a pop, that's a little bit far-fetched, maybe.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Like, I wouldn't put it past the public games, but just the thought of that is just so freaking hilarious.
I hope to God such a thing will never happen in a competitive game. The worst would be if it's at the LAN. It's like, oh, what? Some guys just like, screw this guy, I'm not playing with my team anymore. Okay, maybe I don't know. What could happen to actually make a player like in the middle of the game quit the team?
I have no idea, man. I hope to one day see it happen just because it'll be delicious, delicious drama. Maybe like they uncover another 322 scandal and then he has to resign midway through the LAN. That's probably the closest you're going to get.
I mean, I would think so at least. I mean, in some games it's like, yeah, you get caught cheating or something in the middle of a LAN. It's like, yeah, you're done for, but I guess in Dota, no such things can happen.
Yeah, we're not CSGO. Kind of, yeah, we're obviously above that, right? Maybe. But
look at, I mean, I guess the publicity worked out because the DreamHack Winter viewer numbers for CS were sick.
Yeah, it's like people are like, hey, well, we know that this tournament there's definitely gonna be no cheating.
It's like, why people watch like car races or whatnot? They want to see crashes.
Yep.
So that's exactly why everybody was watching CSGO. Like, they wanted to see somebody get busted on LAN.
Who has a more subtle aimbot? I wonder. Well, Levi actually gets glimpsed. I guess Rubrik has that one now, so that happened. But it is still just BBC trying to buy a little bit more space and farm for we to keep on farming. They have a Ravage up, they have a Supernova up, but they're facing up against an Aegis on Weaver, and they've been struggling to deal with Weaver one time, let alone two. It's going to be really difficult for them to do that. Oh, Courier, though, getting a little bit too close. A couple of Terrorblade illusions. Going to take a little bit of damage, but nothing too substantial there. Albumsheet, they're more than okay with letting this game drag on. As powerful as Terrorblade is, the combination of Doom, Weaver, and a farming Puck with the eventual Sheepstick is going to be enough to deal with him. And BBC, they're not getting any farm on any of their other heroes either.
I mean, that's the biggest worry, mostly when you're running like a kind of 4 Protect 1 style. That one hero, as huge as he may be, can he take on the entire team solo? I mean, yes, you have the Ravage, which in theory should be helpful enough. But even with the nice Ravage and Supernova combination that they had last fight, it just wasn't enough. I don't exactly know how it wasn't enough, but it wasn't. And now Monkey King Bar on Weaver as well. It's gonna be even just easier for him to get the kills. And of course, it's, well, what they get the Doom on Padrino, not gonna be able to follow up with the kill though. Now, Solitude will get the Ice Path, Macropire. Never mind, no Ice Path, he was backing up from Undershock. So I guess it's a Doom for a tier 2.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Doom level 3 has a pretty low cooldown, so he's going to have that by the time he wants it. And Phoenix actually is in a lot of trouble. He gets piped by the end of it. And look at that. Hood of Defiance actually saved his life. It was relevant. Still not sure if that's
but Doom is pure damage, man.
What?
Doom is pure.
Oh, yeah,
Doom
it
is pure damage.
Shit, well, I lied. Hood regen? Yeah?
Oh, okay, Hood regen. Okay, that's legit, I guess.
Easy. Easy regen.
Nice save, man. Nice save.
Yeah, so that's what I meant from the beginning, you know.
Okay, so Undershock, does he really want to try to go for a solo kill like this? I mean, he has the Aegis for another minute and a half or so. So he has plenty of time to make good use of it. I'm hoping they will make good use of it. There have been so many Aegises during a lifetime of Dota that kind of do nothing. They just wait it out.
And it's likely that Albumsheet are going to just be waiting this one out because they are farming so well, and if they do decide to make a play, it'll be making a play into Ravage and Supernova, and those are ultimates that you would rather not like to fight around if you can choose to avoid it. And maybe once they get a BKB or something on Weaver, then they'll be more willing to make a play on the BBC side of the map. But until that happens, the AoE teamfight at BBC is just going to be way too big. So they need Black King bars on Doom and Weaver. Doom is done with his, I suppose. That's nice. Weaver is pretty much nowhere close. It's going to be the Ogre to get set up on. Big Num, what are you doing here? You are nowhere near anybody. That was probably a bad idea. And now Albumsheet, they're going to be pushed.
He was on a mega kill streak as well, which got ended by a Terrorblade now. How often does that happen? But I guess Big Num, with his just extreme multicast skill, it makes sense that he was on a... Whoa. Just the Sunray is so ridiculous, keeping everybody alive. The creeps, the heroes, the illusions. Just, it's an illusion fest.
And those illusions are going to be tearing down this tier 2 tower. Will not be successful in doing it outright, as everyone else from BBC are going to back off. Certainly scared of Albumsheet as well, they should be. They're going to put a little bit of damage into a tier 2, which probably isn't going to be mattering too much in the grand scheme of things. They're going to be backing off and waiting for a couple more items on the Terrorblade. Has a butterfly, though evasion not going to be useful against this Weaver, as he does have the MKB already. Levi almost has his Aghanim Scepter, and I would say that that's a pretty nice item to have on Disruptor, but so far his Static Storms have been not connecting, so it's like you could connect with an even stronger skill, or you could not connect with an even stronger skill. It's not going to be helping you.
It's like some games Tidehunter gets the refresher but just doesn't get to use it because there's not going to be a fight. There's like split pushing or whatnot, or he just dies before he gets to use a single Ravage. So I guess it's nice to have the potential of it. Plus it makes you pretty beefy as well. And funny enough, he's already level 15 and a half even. So we're going to have that level 3 Static Storm. Although I guess Static Storm is one of the abilities that you don't really care about whether it's level 1 or 3. I mean, the damage increases by a little bit, but it's not going to just do too much.
Yeah, damage on Static Storm is not something that you even notice a lot of the time. It's nice as a bonus, but it's the fact that it's a giant AoE silence that just kind of sits there and prevents the enemies from moving forward is where the real value comes in. So Levi's going to have that one soon enough, is now 200 gold away from that. Other items from BBC, I don't think there are that many. Phoenix doesn't have any huge leaps of power. Maybe he's going to want to go for an Ags or something like that, and yeah, he picks up a point booster. So the dream, I suppose, is get Terrorblade really low and then put him in the sun and then have the sun explode and then Metamorphosis again. Because Terrorblade, as far as heroes that you could actually put into the sun and get value out of, is definitely going to be on the top of the list.
So this Terrorblade, pretty huge. Next item about to come out soon enough as well. 4k on him. Ogre picks up a Blink Dagger now. I still would like to see like some mana regeneration item on him maybe, just because Unrefined Fire Blast takes so much out of you. But Terrorblade, he is gonna be 6-slotted soon enough probably. And if they cannot overpower Albumsheet at that point, they probably cannot do it at any point.
Yeah, they just have to like try, and if they can't do it, try again with better Ravages, better Supernovas, and hope for the best. There's always the dream of 5-man Ravage, 5-man Supernova, Egg Explosion, Static Storm. Terrible positioning from Albumsheet. The likes of that happening, very slim, but is not out of the realm of possibility. The rest of BBC, they're smoked up and they're incoming. They might run into Undershock here, but he has a BKB, this Weaver, so killing him off is going to be very, very difficult, especially with a random Jakiro illusion blowing the entire thing. So it's going to scare the puck away. It's not going to serve as bait. It's just going to pretty much deny the smoke from BBC. They're going to try to still go for some chip damage up towards top, but they have to worry about bottom lane because Afterlife is pushing that one, not super aggressively, but enough to make BBC worry.
Oh my god. Well, it's so hard to play when you just have to go back. You want to be pushing yourself maybe. I mean, BBC, they have the Ravage, they have the Pipe, they have pretty much everything they need for the fights. The Aghanim Scepter, Static Storm. But they just have to back off, since if you lose a fight and you're gonna get pushed at the same time, it's always a huge worry like for any team. It's so frustrating to play against like any kind of split push. It's not like Doombringer is a crazy split pusher or anything, but you just don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, any one of the Albumsheet heroes could have been doing that. If it was Weaver, actually, I think BBC might be more inclined to just go up into the base and try to erase the Weaver, force the Weaver back. So maybe it's just the Doombringer's slow but steady, threatening but not super threatening status that let the BBC side come back. Either way, Albumsheet, they have run out of their Aegis timer. They are going to try to go for this tier 2 mid lane tower because Undershock has his BKB now up. And with the MKB, this tower is going to be taking a very, very fast fall. BBC, they're going to sack that one, and probably Albumsheet, because they took this tier 2 tower so easily, they're going to back off and look for the top tier 2 tower as well. You may as well get all the gold you can, because apparently BBC are just giving it out.
I guess they really don't want to take a fight after all. I'm not too sure. Well, now they have the BKB and Terrorblade, so maybe that's what they were waiting for. They do smoke up as well, although V does not get hit by it. I guess it was slightly mispositioned, or maybe they're going to bait out V on the lane or something. But this game has gone, or taken a rather passive, just angle approach for it, for both sides. Looking at the graphs, whoa, a 14,000 network lead, 16,000 in XP for Albumsheet. So they are ahead by quite a lot just because they have 3 farmed cores, whereas BBC, they only have 1.
And those Karm cores are getting acceleration through Hands of Midas. They're going to smoke up and look for Bignum. They're going to catch him with the dive. He will get glimpsed out of that TP. Sunray from the low ground, and Bignum is slowly going to roast. And by slowly, I mean slowly. Ogre is going to die now, but Albumsheet, they are kind of okay with fighting without their Ogre if need be. They're not going to push their luck and try to take a fight very aggressively, but now that they have a BKB on all three of their cores, there's not much that BBC can do as a team in order to shut them down. Only Weehaw is going to have the ability to do that. Chomi, though, going to get caught in the Static Storm. Now with Terrorblade on the front line. Chomi also going to hit with the Ice Path, and the Puck is going to go down. Now Undershock, he's going to try to duel up against everyone, pop the BKB and the time lapse. He will get himself back out of there. Sunrise keeping everyone up at full HP, and BBC find a nice little opening. Puck does not have a buyback. BBC might actually take Raxus here. That is possible right now.
Yeah, Metamorphosis still has plenty of duration left as well. Manta Style was already used though, but between the Liquid Fire and just V being around, they should have enough. I mean, I guess it's just only one mistake, all it takes for you to be a Rax behind. That is huge for Balkan Bears. I mean, they were so far behind in both net worth as well as XP, and they're going to rotate for yet another one. I mean, Puck, he's down for 40 seconds. They rather badly need that just AoE lockdown with the Dream Coil and everything, but Afterlife can't even get off his Doom. Might go, yep, he poops it onto Wii. Easiest target to go for just because he was BKB'd. Cannot mistake him with the illusions or anything. But he's going to stay alive anyway, I think.
The melee Rax is dropping very low. Glimpse back onto Solitude. He's going to get Fire Blasted, not multied, but it will be enough anyway. I think BBC probably could have stayed and taken a second melee Rax there. I feel like they fell back a little bit too early. They had a Ravage. They could have fought with the Puck still dead. Deciding to play it rather safe, and I think that's going to cost them down the line. Still, they have taken down one set of Raxing, and that is a lot more than I really would have expected from them at this point in the game. They pretty much got a freebie because Puck did not expect to get caught in Static Storm like that. So BBC, though they do lose their Jakiro on the way out, it's going to be them with a pretty nice advantage as far as that play is concerned. Still, it's not going to redeem the fact that they're very, very far behind. Albumsheet, they have enough power on their heroes that they're not going to worry about the super creeps that much. It's going to be annoying, but they could deal with it. And now they're going to go for Roshan, so BBC, maybe they took a set and a half of Raxes, they would be maybe even at an advantage in this game, but for right now, it's still them at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Levy, he's going to get caught as well. Bignum will get the multicast. So, easy kill with Chomi helping out. Didn't really need to use any ultimates or anything either. And that's Aghanim Scepter down on Phoenix now.
And we'll see if the dream is real. Putting the Terrorblade in the sun with you and then refreshing his Metamorphosis cooldown. It's going to be possible for Bijinho, but I don't think his egg has actually erupted in a good position a single time. Like, it's blown up once or twice, but the other times it was just cracked and it didn't do that well. So I don't know if this item is going to get that much traction, but it seems to be the most standard item I've seen from Phoenix, at least. Actually, never mind. The only times I've seen Phoenix were Pedrinho and then like one other person. So I don't know what the standard build is. I think Shiva's Guard might have been a little bit better, just getting that additional survivability, but who knows. At any rate, it's still going to be BBC really scared about leaving their base. Even with a Rax up, you typically don't see teams cowering their base following that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred like Shiva's Guard AC, something like that as well. Especially since Undershock, man, he's doing so much damage now with the Daedalus finished on the Weaver. Afterlife has his own AC finished as well. So they are pretty scary, and now that they're actually S5, it gets a lot harder for BBC to fight, although Terrorblade being as huge as he is, he's still dishing out a ridiculous amount of damage even without the Metamorphosis now if he can just stay close enough. So Albumsheet, they're not in the clear yet just because their AoE is still a little bit lacking when it comes to just killing off the illusions.
They're going to go for the tower with their single target damage. Tower is going to drop. Albumsheet, they're going to take that one home, but they have to worry about top lane and mid lane. Super creeps plus being aided by Terrorblade illusions as they're just going to charge forward, put some damage onto the range Raxes. Fire Blast, multicast, still range damage are going to be chipped down a little bit, and Terrorblade pretty much spent nothing for that one. The tier 3 tower dropping for BBC, not going to bother them that much, and Albumsheet really don't want to go high ground against the Tidehunter. That is always a dangerous prospect unless they get a jump onto Weehaw first, and they will. Doom him up, and then that is going to be lethal. Weehaw's going to die right now, not even being denied. Now into Solitude they go. BKB up on Afterlife. Going to chase forward for that Jakiro a little bit before he decides to fall back. Here comes Levi from the side. If he lands Static Storm to Undershock, that could be game-breaking. But Undershock going to charge forward. Ravage is going to connect to no one because of the BKB from Weaver. He's going to kill off one. Now going for another. Levi is not going to be able to outrun this Undershock Weaver, and he will just fall short. 12 HP, he survives, but Undershock going to time-lapse out anyway. Now going to go for the Raxes. Terrorblade is forced to buy out into this game. Weaver going to be set upon with an Ice Path combo. Will not connect, actually. Now going to turn around and two-shot Hockey because easy game. Undershock now he's going to lose his Aegis. We is going to be able to put some serious damage out right now. Macropyre, Ice Path, Static Storm onto Undershock maybe even as well. Levi needs to get the spell out, but he can't. It's still going to be the death of the Weaver anyway. Now Bignum is going to be locked down and killed off as well. Glimpse back on the Ink Visitor. Has a Blink Dagger, can't really use it. Chomi is going to jump right in with the help of a Static Storm stolen by the Rubik. It's going to shut down Wii completely, and he's going to be going down. Has no buyback. Afterlife and Chomi now going to go after Levi, and he's going to be the one to fall next. Only the Jakiro's alive, though the Disruptor can buy back. I don't think Disruptor can hold against these heroes. Weaver is going to buy out into this game, defend the mid lane for a little bit, but aside from that, he's going to barrel down mid and look to take a second set of Raxes.
That steal from the Rubik, he has his own Aghanim Scepter as well, so 7-second duration of the Static Storm. No items, no nothing. Oh my god, that was just beautiful coming up from the Rubik, and they might catch themselves a Phoenix. Eul Scepter was used, Silence to fall on their mind. They're just gonna focus on the buildings. Undershock will make it there as well. Sunray gonna be pretty annoying against Afterlife, doing actually a huge amount of damage. Just gonna have to back off. Undershock gets stunned as well. He cannot afford to die since he also died back, but oh, there is Supernova. Weaver tries to bring it down, but it's not gonna be there in time. A few uphill misses as well, I believe. But BKB, he gets caught, and that's a dieback from a Weaver.
Weaver's down for 120 seconds. Chomi is going to blink out from under a kinetic field. The rest of BBC, they're going to try to make a play up towards top lane most likely, knowing that the Weaver is not going to be able to buy back into this game. They don't know the Doom buyback status. They know that their Terrorblade is going to be down for another 30. Maybe Terrorblade sells his treads and picks up travels and they try to end the game right now. I think that's probably going to be their best bet because, quite honestly, that fight was so decisive in favor of Albumsheet that this is one of BBC's last remaining chances to actually end this game.
It really is. Of course, Weaver, he dies really fast once the Terrorblade actually gets to focus him. Or really anybody dies fast if the Terrorblade gets to focus them. Weaver, I think he died within like 4 or 5 right clicks, and it's not like Terrorblade has Daedalus or anything. Still just such a machine, and he does respawn. Boots of Trials recipe is there, and he's gonna come in now. He's gonna have the Metamorphosis as well. 56 seconds without the Weaver, and without him, I really find it hard for them to actually win the fight. Especially now that Ravage is up as well for Hockey.
Yeah, that being said, can BBC actually get enough done to get themselves back into this game? They're going to go straight for the GG, so it's all or nothing right now. Wii has one illusion up, has Manta Style that he can pop. There is no fortification. Albumsheet, they lose one tier 3 tower. They glimpse back someone, Chomi, into the Static Storm kinetic field, but he gets the BK out for him. Wii is going to get locked down. He's going to get healed up sufficiently by the Sunray. It looks like no, Doom is still burning him down. Wii's going to drop. He's no buyback for another 91 seconds. Finally, the Ravage is there. It's going to connect onto a couple, but it's not going to be relevant enough. Icarus Dive is going to be doing a little bit of damage to everyone. Now into the Supernova he goes, but it's not going to be enough to actually do anything. Weaver is going to respawn in 10 seconds. The explosion going to stun off Afterlife a little bit, but everyone else has to just leave. Ice Path, Sunray. Maybe they'll get this Doom kill if they're lucky, but it's not going to be in time. Hockey, horse staff forward for an Anchor Smash. Will get the Doom down, but he has a buyback, instantly going to use it. Ink Visitor now is going to be one of the last heroes to run away. Chomi also still alive in the middle of this, but Undershock is back, and now he's going to chase forward, looking for whoever he could find. It's probably not going to be anyone. Hockey has a Blink Dagger Force Staff, and he should be able to survive this Ogre's chase, but that was the Hail Mary from BBC. They fail it. They get one tier 4 tower. They almost take a second, but the Doom was just so crippling versus the Terrorblade. Also, the multicast of Bignum. They've been the problem for BBC the entire game, and it looks like it will never stop.
And Ogre is just... That's exactly why he's such a strong support. He can kill people in the later phases of the game as a support. Although Hockey, he gets caught now. They have vision, but Bignum doesn't get another stun or mind. They don't have vision anymore. I guess the dust expires. So a little bit unfortunate. Hockey escapes, or did he crack and shell off the dust while still being invis?
Yep.
I guess that happened.
Easy game. You don't even have to do anything. Just let the Kraken Shell do its work. And now, Albumsheet, they're going to try to end the game right now. Icarus Dive. Undershock does not give a damn about that. The Fire Spirits, it's not going to do anything either. Sunray at this point is probably BBC's second largest damage tool aside from the Terrorblade. They're going to lose a tier 3 tower. Albumsheet, respecting the Terrorblade, are going to be backing off, so the game isn't necessarily over yet. It's just looking progressively worse and worse for BBC as the game progresses.
Thank God that Roshan isn't up yet. Of course, it's not going to be up yet for another guaranteed 30 seconds, but I think this would be the third Rosh otherwise with Aegis and Cheese. That would definitely just be too crippling for Balkan Bears to come back from, although we thought that they were pretty far behind before as well. Still, they managed to like try at the comeback at least. If they do win another fight like they did last time around and get to the enemy base now, there's only a 70 HP tier 4 remaining. So if they can somehow get into the enemy base again like they did, and not get doomed on the Terrorblade, maybe they can just go for the Ancient straight away. Or of course, if they find Chomi as well, gonna be just as good. Chomi does have buyback though, but there's the Usurped Ice Path. They need to catch a Static Storm even for Chomi kill. Definitely worth it in this case, so they get the kill, but it was literally the only hero to still have buyback on Albumsheet.
It's kind of unfortunate from BBC. Still, it's going to be worthwhile to use all those skills. Static Storm, Static Storm is the only skill that they really use there. Has a relatively low cooldown among ultimates. Unfortunately for BBC, if the Roshan timer was a little bit shorter, they could have taken that in a hurry and maybe even come away with this game, but the game is going to delay it for a little while longer, the Roshan spawn, and BBC, they have to stick in here for just a little while longer. They are going to be kind of pushing the bottom lane with a Terrorblade Illusion, which will tank up those super creeps pretty decently. While the rest of the team, they have their ultimates up. There is still no double Ravage on the Tidehunter, and maybe they're going to make something happen here. They could just go to top lane and try to chip it out, but right now they're trying to force out the Puck's buyback, and I don't even know if they're going to be able to do that.
Well, I think their best bet is just to go for top racks, and it really comes down to them not finishing up the melee racks earlier on. When was it, like 15 minutes ago? Was it even more by now? If they had gotten the top melee racks as well, they would have had just a laning advantage, so to say. Top lane would have been constantly pushing in, would have made Roshans easier for Balkan Bears and whatnot, but they catch Afterlife in the Ice Path. You'll set it up as well. Do they have the Static Storm? It's still on cooldown for a little while, so there's the BKB TP out. If only they had the Static Storm 3 seconds earlier.
Or if they had a little bit more luck on Terrorblade, getting that mini bash from the MKB could have also secured that kill. Doom, all things considered, gets really lucky to get out of there alive, so he's going to be able to escape. If Doom went down, he would not be able to buy back for another 3 minutes, and that would represent the biggest chance that BBC have of ending this game, or another big chance that they have of ending this game. But yeah, the range racks, or the melee racks up towards top, if they had that, this top lane would not be an issue at all for BBC right now. They're going to blink forward, Ravaging onto 2. Take it when you can get it, right? Static Storm, Kinetic Field are going to catch Bignum and Afterlife. They're both going to fall right now. Bignum's actually being ignored as we now going to change his attention to that Ogre. Will take that hero down. Chomi on the high ground is going to orb over to the other high ground. We still in the Metamorphosis, still looking for this Puck. He's not going to find him. They're going to put up another Kinetic Field looking for whoever they could find. Pedrinho still has his Supernova, so we has pretty much 2 ultimates. I think at this point it's probably worth it for Pedrinho to just randomly Supernova we just to refresh the cooldown. At least once the ultimate runs out, or once the Metamorphosis runs out rather, they need that double Metamorphosis, and they're going to be going down to the mid lane now. Are they really going to try to end the game? They have no Ravages, they have no Static Storm, they have only a Supernova up against a Weaver. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, they need the second Metamorphosis. I would definitely be on board for them to back off for a little while. Use the Supernova, and they're gonna go straight for the Ancients. They're doing so much damage. Metamorphosis ends though. Are they gonna have enough? No PKB on me. He takes a lot of damage from Undershock. Might even go down the Supernova.
He's inside the egg. He's inside the egg. He's gonna have another Metamorphosis, and he's so low at HP. He gets juiced up to full. BBC, they're just gonna bum rush the throne. They do it. Aghanim Scepter Phoenix. It just won them the game.
That was huge. I mean, Undershock, he came so close to killing off the Terrorblade, but not quite. And what can I say, man? We didn't have too many great Static Storms, but just one good Ravage into one good Static Storm just decided the game.
Oh my god, Terrorblade was dropping so low so quickly. If he went down there, that would have been it. Albumsheet would have been able to defend. It would have been pretty cut and dry from there on out, but the Phoenix and Terrorblade meet up. They get put into the sun together. They explode. They secure the game for BBC. So close, razor thin, but BBC ultimately come out ahead. Unfortunately for them, this isn't going to be the end. They have to go for a little bit more, as this is a best of 3, guys. BBC and Albumsheet will return for game number 2 very shortly, so don't go anywhere. Game number 2 is coming up very soon.